It's here, in these frozen lakes and towns, where the forecast only shows us snow and ice. That hard work, determination, grit, and passion are born. You can see it any day of the week. Hustling, grinding, finding purpose to do something greater, and then finding a way to do it again. Because you see, it's not done for the accolades or the tally sheet. When quitting isn't an option, it's done out of necessity. For those that are born to do whatever it takes, this one's for you. The Hit Club Hockey Supply Company. Born to fight.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and today's episode we're joined by two very special guests. One is Waterford Sharks of the Michigan Independence Hockey League, very own tough guy, Keegan McGraw. And the other special guest is Kurt Gorecki from Hit Club Hockey Supply. So I'm hyped to get both of you beauties on the show. So it's going to be a fantastic episode. We've been talking all week about this. So let's welcome both Keegan and Kurt onto the show. So welcome to the show, boys.
For sure. Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for having us on, man. Appreciate it. Good show.
Yeah, you already know, man. It's the family over here. So all of us have known one another for a little while. It's nice to finally get into podcast session so we can chat it up about the season and everything that's been going on, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, we've all been extremely busy the last couple of weeks with hockey. Like Kurt, you were at like the Mills playoff rounds, the Feds and the Coast and the Kelly Cup. So like, what have you guys been up to? Like, what has these past couple weeks been like for you boys?
Yeah, it's been pretty wild, man. Been doing a lot of traveling, obviously communicating with you guys, just pushing the brand out. You know, like we really started Hit Club. Me and a couple of the boys started Hit Club not too long ago. You know, so going from like literally last November to now, it's been throttle on. You know, pushing the brand, promoting, getting in hands of different teams. You know, we got our philanthropy side where we're like hanging out with everybody, trying to push the brand and support guys in the league. We also have like our production side. We're working on gear and everything else. But I would definitely say the most fulfilling side's been like hanging out with you guys in the Mills finals, traveling, going, seeing all the different games across both the different leagues. I mean, we were hanging out with some of the Walleye dudes. We were hanging out with obviously we hung out with Carolina too up in Port Huron. That was pretty sick, hanging out with those guys. Bunch of beauties in that locker room. Keegs, you know that. And
yeah, good group of fellas. Good group of fellas right there.
Oh, 100%, man. Like family for sure. And you know, then beyond that, man, just pushing the game in, you know, even a smaller capacity with some minor league teams, Little Caesars. We've been working with those guys too. So it's been really cool just going all over and seeing different levels of hockey and different levels compete.
Yeah, like that's what like it seems to be all about with Hit Club Hockey. It's just like the family. Like that's one thing that like I love, besides like obviously you guys and like all the beauties that you guys are that run the ship. Like it's just like a family. Like I remember, Kurt, the first time I met you was at what was a game? Was it game 1 or game 2 of the Mill semifinals that we were in against Waterford?
Yeah, it was 2. I came up to Raz Keegs a little bit. Give him a little bit of motivation. There was a big dude on Blue Water that he had mad respect for, that he said he was going to drop him with. So had to come out for that and see if I could get a recording of him dropping the nets.
Yeah, that was a good tilt with Dunner. It was right Keys? Yeah, beauty as well.
The one in Port Huron.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
he's
a
big
beauty.
Good fellow, man. He's a good kid, man. I like Dunner. He's a good kid.
I remember you were texting me about that, Keegs. You were like, "Hey, man, like it's always a good scenario when you know you already know you're gonna fight a guy. You already know what's gonna go down, and then you can go out and have a beer with them afterwards too."
For sure, yeah. He's a real respectable guy, and he's tough as shit. He can take a punch, that's for sure. He's a big tough son of a bitch for sure.
You know, that's better than half the guys.
Definitely respect. Yeah, for sure. He's a good dude.
You know, that's better than half the guys in this league, right? Like a lot of guys can't take anything, man. Like you hack them in the back of the shin pad a couple times and they're already on the floor.
For sure. For sure.
I remember that game that you and Dunner both went out to take the face off, or like not the face off, but like you're on opening draw and you just dropped him right away. That was a good tilt because you guys both got in some solid punches, and then
For
like Dunner
sure.
got like you hit Dunner with one, and then he got right back up, and like
Yeah,
went
for
on
sure.
for like another minute.
Man. When he got back up from that first one, I was surprised, man. I caught him pretty good, and no, yeah, props to him for sure. It was a good tilt. Yeah, no, and he's a good dude, and you know he's doing a good thing there.
Yeah, it's just good that like you have guys that you could go to get get a beer with after.
Yeah, and anybody who wants to do it like that too, you know, and he's trying to, you know, and what they need to do. Sorry, I got the kitty running in front of me right now. You know, putting on a show like that, it's essential, especially at this level. You know what I mean? You guys are trying to get people to come down to the McMorran and stuff, and that's him stepping up. You know, in my opinion, I don't know too many people who want to, you know, drop the gloves and square up, you know, center ice beginning of the game with me. So for him to do that, you know, in efforts to, you know, get things going, get the team going, get people getting eyes on him and whatnot, you know, it takes a lot, man. It's character. It's good stuff.
That's what I was going to say too, Jack. Like having a guy like that on your team that can back you up, you know, not every team in the Mills has that, you know? Yeah. So like some of the guys like are, you know, sometimes not there, you know, some guys don't show up for certain teams. So it's nice having a guy that was there every single game, ready to scrap in case somebody ran you or did something. Cause we know it. I mean, we've seen it with Waterford. There's some guys that just don't care. And when you have a guy like Keegs or Dunner in the lineup, that definitely changes the dynamic of playoff hockey and regular season hockey.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like there's been a few times where guys have ran into me, and he's one of the first people to step up and actually like do something when like I do get ran over, or whether it's a late slash after I cover the puck. Like it's just good to have guys like that. And he's a good locker room guy too, as well. So that also helps. And like he's big with the leadership role there. So I have nothing but good things to say about Dunner and the Stars.
Right on. Good stuff.
Yeah, but let's get into like both of your like hockey story, because like we've all been through a lot and to be where we're at today. So like what's like the hockey background with you guys?
I like Keegso, man. I'm interested to hear him. Me and him have been chatting about that for a little while, and it's definitely more interesting.
For sure. So, Jack, I don't know if you knew this. I used to be a goaltender, like back in the day. Like I played junior and stuff in that.
Yeah, I've heard about it a few times throughout the season.
Yeah, right. So coming up and stuff, like I grew up playing, you know, in the Detroit and Metro Detroit area. And then after high school, towards the end of high school, I moved away to Bay City for my first year of junior. And then second year of junior, I went up to Sault Ste. Marie. And then after that, I got drafted up in the G, and I went up there, did some time in South Muskoka and then Meaford, and then wrapped up in Alpena with junior. And then after that, a couple years, the following season after junior, I had actually went to camp with Port Huron their inaugural season as a goaltender, and I signed with them. But I ended up there's some trouble that happened back home and stuff, and I wasn't able to get away to report for season. So that ended up being a wash. And then after that, you know, I played net a little bit locally, but it just wasn't the same. You know, I ended up hanging them up and stuff, and kind of just went down another path in life for a few years, and then started boxing. And I eventually I went to a camp down in New Orleans for BKFC, and I signed with my manager, Kevin Smith, at Smith Brothers Combat Sports in Tampa Bay there. And he's with BKFC. After signing with them, I got contacted by AJ Galante from the Trashers, from the documentary and whatnot. And shout out to AJ, great dude. I would not be, if it weren't for the opportunity he originally gave me, I would not be, you know, and for him believing in me and everything, I wouldn't be playing hockey. You know, I wouldn't be making this little, you know, enforcer, like come back into the hockey world. And just being back to where everything's happened so fast. And definitely got to, you know, him and my dad, I got to give big shout outs to for, you know, everything they've done for sure. You know, it's being back on the ice, man. It hits different, man. It's a big deal for me. It's been a big thing in my life, being able to definitely get, you know, emotional just talking about it. But because my shoulder took about, I had like, I don't know how long before I got it back good again. It was like maybe like a 4-month process. It was supposed to be 6, but I busted it out in 4. I went physical therapy every day. Yeah, I busted it out.
Hard, dude.
Yeah. Sorry for the language, Jack. Am I
No, go for it.
Right,
Anything goes.
Fired up.
But yeah, so I started getting all these offers, and I'm going over it with my dad and stuff, because my dad is a real respectable hockey figure. He played back in the day for Illich's first team he had, Little Caesars, his first junior team he had way before the Wings and all that stuff. He took him out to Sweden, out to Skellefteå and stuff. My dad coached for Carmanos and Compuware, back in the day. So he knows his way around the hockey world, and he's a good, good hockey guy. Yeah, he's good lad, yeah, for sure. Always in my corner. That guy has been there with me through it all.
That's what
man.
you need.
It's been a wild ride of a life, and that dude, him and my mom, just all my close people, they have all ride or dies, all been there with me through everything, man. So I couldn't have a better.
Can we say shout out moms too, hockey moms, man? Because without them, time. Man,
nothing.
Yeah, they're putting in the work when we're having fun, man.
Absolutely. So I start getting these offers and stuff, and it comes around the time I got cleared from my doctor to start boxing and play hockey in I think like the very beginning of December, and like a few weeks after that, I got reached out by Ruts on Carolina, and there was I was talking with a few teams, Montcalm and Laval up in the Quebec League, but they have that stupid import rule where you either have to, it's set up, if you didn't play junior or youth in Quebec, or you're not from Quebec or the Maritimes, or played in the Maritimes, then you're not allowed. It's a new rule too, unless you're grandfathered in. So like guys like Parks, I don't know if you guys know Derek Parker, like he plays in the league, but so he was grandfathered in. Guys like him, Corey Holland, another guy who was on like the famous Chief de Laval documentary. He's back in the league. He made a comeback this year. Shout out to Corey. Guy's a fucking beauty. But he's grandfathered in, like that, those type of guys from back in the day, because they used to not have that import rule, but they have it now, which is, I don't know why that league would want to limit itself, because it's such a show league.
Because Quebec's up there messing up hockey, man. They're up there in the minor.
But so I end up signing with, and I had some stuff going on in December to where I couldn't move to Carolina. It would have been a great time to go there and play some games in Winston. But when they were coming up to, I talked to him again a couple weeks later when they were coming to Motor City, and he was like, how's your shoulder? Are you want to come out for the weekend? And I was like, yeah, I'm hopped at the opportunity. Yeah, went out, and man, it was the lads all, great group of lads there, great group of fellas over there at Carolina. Shout out all those boys. Shout out Ruts. Yeah. Shout out, whole organization. Good overall, good group. But yeah, had those first 2 games, man, had a blast. Had a good scrap in the second game. Nobody would go me in the first one, but got their tough lad to go me top of the second game. Had a good first tilt back from the injured reserve list, and from there just started like I don't know, so after a couple weeks after that, I started talking with Waterford, letting them know that I was going to be, I'm remaining in the area right now and stuff. And I had a couple buddies on their end of things that I was going back and forth with. And when I realized that, because there was another team, Montcalm, was trying to swerve me in, trying to figure out a way to get me into the Quebec League. And once that fell through completely, I figured I was going to sign with Waterford and finish out the year with them. And it worked out perfectly, because I really need to stay in the area right now. And with Waterford being like, the rink is like 10 minutes down the road from me, like it's perfect. And, the road trips aren't too bad, but no, great group of guys there. Started mushing with them quick. And no, man, just from like transitioning notes from like, I had to like basically learn how to play quick, but it's cool. Cause like once I got like the basics down, like hockey came to me, fighting and hockey, like obviously came to me first, you know what I mean? But like once I started getting the basics down of hockey, like I was allowed to, display like my actual hockey sense out there, and it was, with the help of a lot of the fellas on the, shout out Chinner, like all those guys, taking time out at the end of practice, to go over things with me, to really, focus on things, and it helped. And it's crazy how quick shit just came along. I mean, ended up getting some points and stuff, and
a few goals as well.
Yeah,
ended up burying a few, but that's what I mean, like being able to get myself in that position and just like oh man, it's been cool. It's been a great time. But no, man,
it's all Gordy's now, right? From here on
yeah,
out.
Yeah. You know, I'd always prefer a fight. You know, I love the feeling of scoring a goal, but I'd always prefer a good scrap. That's just me though. I'm a fighter first. You know, that's just how I am.
Wouldn't expect it any other way, homie.
Yeah, for sure.
Two of your goals came against me too, so that's pretty funny.
Oh, I didn't know that stat. Yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah, because you got 3, right?
Out.
Yeah. I got that first I don't know if it was the first or second playoff game, because I finished playoffs point per game fucking average, believe it or not.
I did say that. I brought that up to you. I was like, damn, point per game player.
It's silly though. But you know, just being in the right spot, you know, and having the right guys around. Yeah, I mean, without the boys out there busting their ass, you know, just gotta be. It's easy when you got guys out there who know how to do the work, and all I have to do is, you know, be in the right spot. You know, it makes things a lot easier. But no, man, it's been cool. And when it comes to, I mean, honestly, I can thank like fighting for everything too. Like that, I got some big fight offers coming up this summer. Like everything is falling into place, and I can thank fighting for everything. Because like, you know, I was in, you know, I had a couple of years. I was in a dark place, man. And you know, with boxing and everything, what I've come through and what everything's turned into, man, it's all come from fighting. And I got to thank that, man. Everybody behind me. And this hockey stuff is just a bonus, you know, learning how to play, learning how to, you know, scoring fucking goals. Like that's all a bonus. You know what I mean? Like I know what I'm there for, but all that stuff. So it just, no, man, it warms the heart, to say the least. It's good times, man.
Yeah, no, I'm like, you made some pretty nice dishes too. I remember you did a behind the back that got an assist in one of our games. So that was that was cool. But
that's when the chell comes into place. All the chell played over the years. That's when that comes in hand.
So the chell training.
Yeah,
right.
Chinner was out there with you after practice. He was letting you do all the fun shit. Normally, when you get those hard ass coaches, when you learn hockey young, they're out there going, nah, you got to do bag skates and, you know, suicides and all that shit and drops on the blue line. And Chinner's out there teaching you how to do behind the back passes and shit.
Right.
Another beauty.
Yeah, 100%. Right.
There's a ton of beauties in the middle that like just learn about from this season, and it's just like there's a bunch of great dudes on there in that league, and it's awesome to see and like how close you can get with them, like when you actually do reach out to them and just play against them as well.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
I got to say that too, man. Like being around all you guys and being around some of like the Fed players and Coast guys. I mean, hockey really is small when you look at it. I mean, I'm hanging out in a city halfway across the U.S. And I'm running into guys that know Evan Cormier, who's playing up in Manitoba.
Yeah.
And Cormier knows Peavy on Carolina. And, you know, the next thing you know, it's just a big family. Like you're only one person away from everyone in hockey. I can't think of anything else that's that way.
That's true, man. That's one thing that I just being back in the hockey world, like that environment, man, you can't beat it. There's nothing better than it. Like it is a special place, man. It is the hockey world's a small world, like you're saying, man. It really is crazy.
Yeah, everyone knows someone that you know, and it's just crazy to just figure all that out and just be like, wow. And then it's like, how do you know this guy? How do you know this guy? And it just sparks up a conversation that like you may not even know the guy, and then you're buddies with him after.
Yeah.
But like going off of fighting a little bit here, like they're like, you know, in hockey, especially like in the NHL, like they're trying to get rid of hockey, or not get rid of hockey, obviously, but like get rid of fighting, and like especially in like the junior leagues now and everything. Like, what's your take on that? Because it's part of the game. Like, why are people trying to take it out?
Yeah, I mean, and those people, the people who are trying to take it out, they don't get it anyway. Like they don't
understand it all.
They don't.
Man.
They don't have the first clue. But to be real, I mean, it will always, no matter what people say, in my opinion, it will always exist. Because the way I put it, with minor professional hockey in general, if you want minor professional hockey, what's half the people in the arena in Timbuktu, and you know what I mean? Like they want to see a good fight, not to be, not to sound that way, but that's how it is, to keep it real in a lot of those areas. Like they want to see, WWE on skates. Like if people want to see the highest level of hockey, they're going to tune into the NHL. So every minor league, like you got to have a guy who's given that splash. Like it's an important thing. And the NHL will still always have it. And the thing is, with those junior leagues, what they're doing is they're making these guys, because there's still going to be guys. How many guys in the NHL have you seen who step up? They're guys that was like, well, okay, I'll take on that role, but they don't have the first clue. They don't know how to close their hand when they're throwing a punch. They're breaking their fucking hand on the second punch they've ever thrown because they don't know how to close their fist properly when they're throwing a punch. It's little things like that, and you're throwing them into this jungle, and they're gonna try to make it work. But I mean, like, why wouldn't you want a guy to figure it out? Through you're limiting, what they're moving up the leagues with. It makes no sense to me.
To your point, Keegs, like you're seeing that big time when like guys are like being thrown into those roles. You got these guys that are coming from the WHL, the OHL, who haven't really had fights. It's skill based, they're tall dude. They step into the NHL. No one else is going to do it. They're just trying to fight for a
not to
spot.
Take anything away from them. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're going to do it, but
they're not closing their fist. You could tell right away when some of those scraps, when the dudes don't even know how to square up properly, and they're flying all over the place.
All that type of shit, man. It is. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that is a touchy subject. I just don't. I don't get it. Why you would limit it, why you want the players to be limited? Moving forward. You want them to be That's the whole purpose. That was the whole purpose of junior hockey, to get them ready for that next level. You know what I mean?
Well,
like that.
You saw it with the Halifax Ramparts series. There's that big hit too. I mean, like that's the type of stuff right there that you're green lighting when you don't have somebody that's at least going to stand up or do something.
The guys are they're gonna take liberties. The stick work, those high hits, all that. The guys are gonna take liberties. That's the bottom line, and it's gonna get shittier. And as bad as it sounds, like a guy, especially if you're a prick out on the ice, you're gonna take that 2 minute, like you're gonna take that 2 minute with a smile. You're gonna remember if somebody fucking pounds your face in. You're gonna remember that. That's gonna stay with you. You know what I mean? So it's a big difference. And even in a situation when the refs aren't handling it and you need to police yourselves, like it's just like, and then like even in, I know I'm jumping around now, but like in the EC, like that limit, how many fights is it that they give them?
10. It's 10. I think they bumped it to 12. But there's quite a few guys that we sponsor that are, debating on whether they're going to hurt their team if they take that extra fight.
Exactly. And that should never be the case.
Oh, and then you got guys too who can't even get anybody to scrap with them because they're these rules that they're implementing. And also, they're also heavyweights like you, but you're taking away careers too. You have guys who have built their careers on that, and you pull the floor out from underneath them. I mean, we have 400, 500 game veterans in the Coast and the SP and in the A who can't even get somebody to scrap with them. I mean, it's like, that's what the fans are paying for. There's that viewership.
They want to see it. Everybody wants to see it. The boys want to see it. The fellas
the boys want to
do it. I just don't. It's baffling. I do not get it.
Either way, that scenario. You take a look at that scenario right there. He's not going to get run.
No, yeah, for sure. And if he does, that guy is gonna fucking. He's gonna know what he did, and he's gonna know he fucked up.
100%.
And then you don't forget shit like that. It's a game of emotion. That's what makes the game so beautiful. There's finesse. There's grit. There's angry times, there's happy times, there's, it's a game of emotion, and it's always been that way. And that's what makes it so special. And it sucks that, and at a time where why you would want fighting, combat sports is at like an all-time high. Like people love it. Why wouldn't you want to sell the game, especially in the States, sell the fuck out of the game? Like, fuck, people love it. What did Shaq say the other night? They were talking to Shaquille O'Neal. He's like, "Yeah, I don't really watch hockey. I just like when y'all fight." And I know it's stupid, but an outsider like that, and you want those outsider eyes. If you want the game to be like these other sports in the States, basketball and football, towards the top, viewings, all that shit, then you need those extra eyes. And if everybody, I don't know, you know what I mean? There's also.
You're not wrong, man. I mean, that's what everybody's watching it for. It's a spectacle, right? I mean, you take a look at why people are paying $3,000 this weekend to go see Vegas. It's a spectacle beforehand. It's the same thing when you put fighting into a game. If you take all the skill out, you put everybody on an Olympic-sized rink, you get the World Juniors again. And the World Juniors, I'm not taking anything away from that being exciting, but I mean, I remember being at Red Deer a couple years back for Ref Cam, and there was nobody there, man. Like, it was like they couldn't get people in there, and it has to do a lot with promotion. You look at the way that they do fighting promotion. I mean, it's basically running on emotion, right? Like, everybody wants to be there to see the big moment where everything's going to pop off. Like, is he actually going to knock his lights in or not? And I mean, the same thing goes for hockey, bro. Like, you take a look at, our whole brand's built on that whole fighting spirit. I mean, it's not just the actual fighting notion. It's the emotion that the game runs on. And you start taking that out of it, that's the blood life to hockey, man.
For sure.
Yeah, and when we talk about like the NBA analysis, like I know Shaq said that, but also an analysis was like, screw the NBA playoffs, like NHL playoffs and hockey is way better, and like it's literally with coming like every aspect, like fighting, the skill wise, like single part of the game, like that's what people got to look at, and like a lot of people don't look at that. And then like
which is unfortunate, but I agree with you. But it's unfortunate that everybody else doesn't see it like that, outside of the community.
And like when fights happen, like you see it like on Spin Chicklets or ESPN, like when they posted like literally blows up, and like that's
when they do, they like to, and I know they like to for a long time not show the replays and shit, on purpose. Like I used to hate that shit, missing a fight and they would never fucking replay it.
Yeah, but they're on their burner account liking that shit on Twitter and checking it out on Instagram, watching it 3-4 times.
Have like 1 million comments, and like you put those people in the seats, you're making trillions of dollars right there.
Exactly.
Off of fighting.
Sure. Yeah, it sells.
Oh,
everybody loves it too, man. Like, fuck. The boys love it, the fans love it. Fucking give it to them, fuck. And it doesn't have to be
a good tilt. The boys are showing the love for it right after.
Oh yeah. There's nothing, man. I've talked with guys, the guys who are the leading point getters on the team, the guys who are some of the most skilled players on the team, and they'll tell me, they'll be like, the shit that I can get away with out there, or the room that I have right now, are the all those little things, they add up to your team production, guys scoring goals, guys having space, guys being able to do what the fuck they want to do out there. All those little things add up, man. It's not just the hoorah of it. No, it's the little things too, for sure.
The coach loves it too, man. You can actually run strategies. You can actually run plays during practice without having to worry about somebody slew footing you across the blue line, man.
Right.
Yeah, it's just awesome. The fighting part's awesome, especially in the minor leagues. Like that's what everyone pays for, like we've been saying, and like you just gotta love the game, and like the game's gotta keep evolving and keep fighting in the game.
Oh yeah.
I mean, take a look at I got my Kalamazoo jersey back here. I work with that organization still. Shout out to everybody over there. Love those boys too. We got Anthony Collins, who's one of our He's actually
coming on the podcast when I get back from Tennessee.
Oh yeah, Collins is a beauty
beast,
for sure,
man. He's a tough lad. He's got some.
Yeah,
he throws some bangers, man.
But you take a look at their rivalry with Fort Wayne and Kalamazoo, man, and that's what literally sells out Wings Event Center, the memorial down there in Fort Wayne, is when they know that they're gonna have Allen and Collins squaring up. When you had Cormier and I think Fantilli I think it's Fantilli. Middle of the season getting a goalie scrap down there. That's what it's all about, man.
Simple mathematics, man. That's sales right there.
I'm gonna have Keegs teach me how to fight, so when I do get in a goalie scrap, I'm not looking stupid out there.
Yeah, so you fucking beat the shit out of somebody. Oh yeah, buddy.
Let's go.
I almost could have gotten one.
You gotta set something. Yeah. So yeah, when I was playing that back in junior and stuff, when I was younger, I'd always try to get goalies to go me, center ice and stuff, but could never never get anybody to actually go. I'd fight a lot of players and stuff like that. Shit that happened off the play. A lot of silly stuff. A couple off ice gigs. Had a nice off ice brawl in junior. My first away weekend in juniors. No, yeah, we'd get on the old like Facebook Messenger and shit, and like try to line something up, with other goalies that thought they were tough and shit, and
You love to
never get anybody. No, they never wanted, because even before like my boxing days and stuff, like I've always been a scrapper, always been a fighter, always been a fighter.
You probably had some dude on there acting like Joe Pesci back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you want to fucking go?
Yeah.
You want to fucking go? Yeah.
Right.
You're chirping you on the messenger.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, I almost got in a one this year against Muskegon.
Yeah, you should have fucking gone.
Yeah,
I know. I should.
That's a sore
should've.
spot for us, man. We're hanging out in Muskegon for the playoff finals there, man. And there's a couple times where we got pretty heated. That dude's stick. I gotta chirp it. I don't care. Worst tape job in the league. Period. I don't care if he hears that. Worst tape job in the league.
That's silly.
That's hilarious, because I remember it was after the game too. Like the buzzer just went, and like we lost 4-2 that game, and like there's just a brawl in the corner that he went into and like checked one of our players into the glass, and like I literally like took off, like got to the red line, and then my coach screamed at me and was like, "No, you do not go in there. We don't need you over there." But like looking back at it, I should have been like, just fuck it, and just went for it.
Yeah.
You just gotta send
all
it.
Good. Sometimes it's good to think, especially in your case. Sometimes it's good to use your head, but yeah, I mean, sometimes it is worth it to just say fuck it and fucking go down there and dive in.
Next year, I've already gotten some. I've already set some fights up, whatever league that's in. Like I got guys lined up that's like, can you give me my first goalie fight? I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
Fuck yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Love a good goalie tilt, man. That's when I
you're gonna give it to him too, man.
Man. Guys like
after
Ray
Keegs
Emery
teaches me how to.
Yeah, for sure, man. Hey, anytime I got some synthetic ice set up and I got a little home garage, man. You want to come over, tug around, learn a couple things, man? Always, man. For sure.
Absolutely.
I tell all the fellas that, man. Same with boxing and shit. You guys want to come down to the gym, man? Definitely, anybody who wants to come put in some work, man. I'm all about it. I always offer all the fellas on the team, man. Always down to work with guys, for sure.
Let's go, man. Definitely coming out this summer. We're gonna do a little bit of
team
for sure. I know
boxing session.
I know for sure. Yeah, I know Spence. I'm about to get Spence in because I know he's talking about he's wanting to hit some camps and stuff this summer, and he's Spence is he's a good hockey player too, but he's a willing combatant, man. That's my boy.
Yeah,
shout out Spence.
Shout out,
but
Bowman. Yeah, for sure.
Bowman.
Yeah, because my first game with the squad with the Sharks, I was planning to fight Perry on Gaylord, who's a great fella. Perry, love that lad for sure. Good, real good. But Spence, I didn't even know he dropped the mitts at the same time. He told me, he was like, I'm gonna see if anybody wants to, but I didn't know for sure. And I shed the mitts and I look behind me, I see Spence shedding his mitts. I'm like, oh man, this fucking beauty. So ever since then,
Yep.
I'm like a brother of mine. First game he's going same time. Like you gotta love that shit. So yeah, shout out Bowman, man. That's the dude right there.
Oh, for sure, man. He's thank you for hooking us up with him too, Keegs. Total beauty.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably one of the better guys out. I mean, it's family first for him, and family means his kids, family means his team, family means anything he's putting his mind and heart into. Same with you, man. So like
exactly, yeah, and that's the type of people you want around you, man. You need those type of people, and he definitely, man. I love seeing him take his baby girl out there after the games and shit. He always skates around with her in his arms. It's class stuff right there.
Yeah. One of the last messages I sent to him after that game, we got some awesome footage of that too. So we have a little mini documentary we're putting out with some Sharks content. We're gonna post it at some point this summer. But we got some amazing footage of stuff like that, man. And we got him skating around with his daughter, and it's just such a cool tradition. Like that's the other thing, man. Like nothing like that.
That's beautiful right there. Yeah, that's what it's all about right there, man. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I always see the pictures from those games, and like it's unreal. Like families first, families everything, and it's unreal to see that, and it's like you give back to the game, give back to like what your family
Yeah,
sacrificed, because they sacrifice a lot for us to play at this game.
yeah, man, a lot. Oh yeah,
Yeah, all the
for
bus
sure.
trips, all the 3-hour road trips. I mean, it's one thing for
Those
3 hours.
early morning skates as a youth, man. Those little kids, those
The
fucking
5 a.m.
5 o'clock ones
skates.
down in
Oh
the
yeah,
city and shit.
the
Oh
five
yeah,
a.m.ers couldn't get ice time any other time. You're out there. You
yeah,
paid for the
yeah,
premium ice time. You're still out there at 5 a.m. because coach wants you out there at 5 a.m.
yeah.
That's
For real.
unreal. Got to get up at 3:30 in the morning, so it's
Oh yeah,
midnight around there. It's time to get up and time to go rip puck.
Yeah, yeah.
all day, man. That's
Yeah.
the era though. You wish you had some Zins or something. Like you can't live without it nowadays, man. But
Yeah,
back then
right.
we were running off adrenaline, man, because we were up
Oh
playing
yeah.
we were playing like NHL '98 and stuff till like 4 a.m, and waking up for practice with like 2 minutes of
No,
sleep.
right. Exactly. That is funny as
Those
hell.
are the best
For
times.
real though.
Yeah, but
100%.
yeah, but Kurt, let's get on to like hit club hockey and like what like made you start the whole brand, and like how special has it been to see like all the branches come from what you started with hit club.
Yeah, brother. So a lot of us were working like corporate jobs. So, like pandemic hit and we were doing stuff for everybody else. So like we got together, I've played hockey my whole life. I know a lot of other, like I said, hockey's a community. So I've known a lot of other people through the years that have been playing professionally, even though I stopped into college. Got a pretty bad knee injury, had a couple of really high grade concussions, and just kind of called it quits at that point, man. Like it was unfortunate. We were talking about that a little bit earlier, Jack, about how like you just love hockey at such a high level
Yeah.
and never lost that. But there's a time when you hang them up, and
Yeah.
you start playing beer league or whatever you have going on. But a lot of my buddies didn't. So I've known a lot of people, had a lot of connections through the years, like obviously working with Kalamazoo Wings and a few other professional franchises. Kind of just came together out of the pandemic, man. Everybody was starting to lose contracts, like teams were folding, teams were playing half seasons, teams weren't playing seasons. Guys really didn't know what their future looked like. And it kind of hit that point where guys were like, all right, what am I gonna do now? What can I do? So a bunch of us got together and we're like, hey man, let's hit this thing, man. We all have the skill sets. We all have worked for other people doing this. Let's do it ourselves. And one of our big goals is, hey, taking a look at what's out there. Hockey's become an extremely expensive sport. It's really and honestly, unfortunately, become a thing where whoever has the most expensive stick is getting the looks. Whoever, like in the minors and the juniors, and even in like lower leagues, man. It's whoever can afford it, whoever can afford to fly out to get a chance, somewhere to, like, you've seen it yourself too, Jack, with like, hey, I'll go play e-bug somewhere because you love hockey at that high level. Like you're blessed to be able to do that, but not everybody can. So that's where we started looking at our focus. We wanted to, number one, give back to hockey in whatever capacity we can. There's a lot of beauties out here grinding in the trenches that don't really get looks and don't get shots. So that's like number one. I'll go on to like the whole born to fight and fighting spirit thing in a second. But secondly, we took a look at the market and seeing, hey, there's a lot of companies overcharging for either A, the quality of goods that they're putting out, or B, the, communication or I guess the communication they're putting out is all this elitist kind of mentality. And that's not what we're about. I think we looked at it immediately and wanted to actually step back from that and go, how can we provide inexpensive gear for people? How can we provide the coolest possible gear for like guys playing? And how can we unite fans and pros together across the board to create this like kind of community and also brand? So we put that together, and that's kind of how Hit Club was born. We started sourcing some gear, and that's where the supply comes in, because we have a whole like line of pro gear coming out. We're really excited about that. But we launched with the apparel line, and that's been going really successful so far. So we've put out a whole line of kind of like fighting centric, gear, and then also gear for different types of players too. So we have gear for, the beauties and the guys that are scoring. We have gears for like the enforcer. You see Keegs wearing the enforced shirt over there. That's been a real big one for us.
Dropping the brand.
Dropping the mitts. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you got our logo on over there, Jack. That's actually like the first thing that we produced, was like we wanted to come up with something that really felt like that old school kind of hockey. We were talking about that a little bit before, like the things as a kid, like all of our generation that's currently playing hockey or that's currently involved in hockey in some capacity. Everyone remembers like the Montreal Canadiens, the Blackhawks, the kind of Red Wings teams that were around that have that real traditional feel. So that's kind of where we went with our trademark logo, and that's kind of where we born everything. We wanted everything to be a part of that whole born to fight mentality of like when you were a kid, you would have done anything to play the sport, and as adults and as pros, a lot of us that are involved in this company, we're still doing anything we possibly can to push hockey and to continue to play at a high level. So that's kind of where Hit Club started, and where we see this thing going, man, is we've already signed on about, I think, 40 pro athletes, which is really exciting. Keegs and you included, which is fantastic. We're so fucking stoked to have you part of the family. And we just want to keep pushing this thing, man. It's already been a huge success. We already have considerable amount of partnership, but one thing we don't want to do is we're not looking to partner with, NHL teams. We're not looking to, push ads out and stuff like that. We're looking to really work with guys, give back to the teams, hang out with the guys, like be one with those teams. Because
the
not
real
only
shit. Real
exactly.
Shit.
Yeah. We're looking to push you guys to like film with you guys, to be in the trenches with you, and to like really, lift you guys
And
up.
that shit, it goes miles. It goes miles.
It does.
100%.
Because it's just like we're out here grinding, and you guys are too, and it's just like you don't see a lot of the grind that everyone has to go through. Like it's
Nobody's
not all
putting that
Cinderella
content.
stories and stuff like that.
Yeah, nobody's putting that content out. Like
No.
everybody's doing the polished edit. You don't see the hit before the goal. You see the goal. You don't see the, like everyone's doing those like Cinderella Disney kind of cuts of, the beauty scoring like the Austin Matthews and the Nylander and all that stuff. Hey, I'm just saying they didn't make it out of the second round. So, I don't give a shit about any of that. And I don't think Matt, I don't think anybody else who's a part of the Hit Club company cares about that type of stuff. We care about the guys. Like we were talking to Rut not too long ago, and he has obviously coached Ty Delandria, and we know a couple guys on Carolina that know like Robertson and Robo and a couple of the other guys that were playing in the Eastern Conference Finals, or Western Conference, sorry. And those guys have always been the same. Those guys have always been pushing the sport. Those are the beauties that are just trying to cut their teeth in the NHL. Those are the type of people that we want to work with, because they actually understand it. They're still one of the guys. They're not like making millions and not caring. We've known a lot of people, and I'm not going to name names in the NHL, but there's all those guys in friends groups that everybody played with at one point that don't get involved and don't get invited out on the golf trips. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure.
So, we're definitely looking to deal with the guys that really need that shot, and we're looking to promote you guys and those type of players. And I think that's important to not only our mantra, but also our quality of gear as well. Like we're not looking to produce the cheapest quality gear to make the most profit. We're looking to produce something that's going to last. Like if you have a superstition going to the playoffs, you don't got to worry about our stuff like having holes in it and stuff. You know what I mean? Like we're producing the highest quality gear that we possibly can.
Not the shitty quality that just rips easily.
Exactly.
Top notch. Everybody
100%.
go shop Hit Club. Go shop Hit Club.
Follow them on Instagram and go get the merch.
Get to shopping now.
Let's go. Yeah, that's big for us, man. Like again, and I think taking it back to that whole thought process is everything is calculated. Everything comes from a point of we truly believe in our mantra, born to fight. Like that's everything, man. It's the literally working a day job. Like a couple of us still work day jobs, you know, a couple of us don't. Like we've definitely like invested into this 100%, but we have a couple of the guys that are invested in the company that, you know, are still grinding it out, but they still believe in this thing. So, you know, they're playing pro hockey, they're working day jobs during the summer, and they're also, you know, a part of this brand because they believe in it. And I think that goes for the average fan too. You know, as the economy gets crazier and wilder and everything that's going on in the world, everyone's grinding harder. You know, everyone's fighting, trying to make ends meet. Everybody's trying to do what they love. And at the end of the day, that's to us. I'm sure you guys can agree. That's always been hockey, because hockey's that extra expense. Hockey's always that extra thing in life. But it's also the number one for anybody who plays it, right? So like in the grand scheme of life, it's not, you know, the number one in your pocketbook. It's not the number one in your responsibility book, but it's the thing that you love with all your heart. And that's kind of where that born to fight mentality comes from. That's everything, man. It's that, you know, fight to make ends meet. It's the fight to, you know, make it to the rink on time, to put in that little bit of extra work, to not give up, to work your hardest. So that's that kind of in a nutshell for you guys.
Yeah, I love that. And like that's one of like the biggest reasons why like I love supporting the brand, why I wanted to bring you, especially you, Kurt, on the podcast. Like Keegs, you're a beauty, so I wanted to bring you on too, especially with Kurt here. So like since you're part of the brand part of the brand as well. So it's just like that was the biggest thing. It's just like family and how like personal the whole brand is. Like they're going to war, just going through the brick walls for your supporters and your clients and like all of us that are repping the brand. So like I just really appreciate that and everything you do, and like it just like helps, like especially since, you know, pro hockey and minor pro hockey, it's a grind. You're in the trenches a lot, and you just gotta, it's just to have support and guys that are willing to do that. Like it's, you can't really have, I don't even have any words to describe it.
Yeah, you know what? I've seen it multiple times now too. I mean, what was really nice is it seemed like even in Middle East, you know, a lot of the teams at least sponsor you guys with gear, and they were at least hooking you guys up, you know, with team sponsored stuff, which is nice to see. You know, it's crazy to me that even in some of the East Coast League markets and the FP markets, I mean, we gave some guys like some shirts, you know, and this is before the whole Carolina thing, but we were giving guys some shirts just to rep and stuff. And guys were like, wow, nobody's ever done this for me. And honestly, like that hit home for some of us, because we're like, what? You know, like that didn't even register, because that's just in like who we are. You know what I mean? It's like, obviously, like if you're a beauty, you're getting a shirt. Like if you're a homie, you're getting a shirt. You know, like that's what it's about. It's about like building a community, building a brand. But, you know, seeing the reactions of guys when we did sponsor like the Thunderbirds and stuff, I mean, guys were all about it because they couldn't believe that we were like hooking them up with sick gear, but also like getting in the trenches with them, hanging out with them, you know, going out to team lunches and, you know, hanging out in the locker room, going to practices, stuff like that. So it's definitely been cool because we've also built some lifelong friendships. You know, it's also really neat to see guys succeed as well. You know, like a couple guys that we've been working with, like one of our good friends, Trevor Gorsuch, who's also a part of the company. You guys probably know him. He went from Kalamazoo at the beginning of the season. He got dropped for reasons we still don't know why. He ended up getting signed down in Evansville and grinded his way through the season. He won the first ever SPHL Goaltender of the Year award for Evansville. He got called up to Wichita, which then put you in that situation, Jack, to head into Evansville down there. And he played off his ass down there too. I mean, like Wichita unfortunately got bounced due to logistics, right? But I mean, he grinded his way all the way out of, you know, the East Coast, down through the SP, all the way back up, and, you know, kept going. And I think that's like a testament too to the type of athletes that we work with. You know, that's that born to fight mentality. We don't work with guys who are trying to mail it in, you know, and I don't think anybody that we've worked with is trying to mail it in.
Yeah, and like just like what you said about Gorecki, like I've had him on the podcast, I think 2 years ago now.
Yeah,
I think we're due. I'm due to have him on again. But like that's
Oh,
just
yeah.
a guy that goes through the trenches and everything, and like you said, worked his way to the coast. Then he went down to the SB, worked his way back up, got a shot on the coast, and I don't see him coming back down to the SB next season. I think he's going to be full-time coast. Hopefully works his way up to the A after that.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, if I know one thing, it's kind of that same mentality you have too, Jack. Like we were actually working on some merch together for the brand, and it's funny, like the stories that every one of us have, right? Like we got to get into some more of those stories because they're always funny. I'm not going to like speak for him. I'll let him speak more to it. But we were just talking about like his days at Western and kind of his mentality about how he plays, and that whole like I'm in your head mentality, like. He's cocky, man. He gets a net, and he's like, you ain't scoring on me. Like you ain't putting it away. I own your brain. I own this part of your brain.
It's a good way to be, though. It's a good way to be.
Yeah, man. That's what it's all about, man. I couldn't even skate like half a shift right now, man. I'll be 100% honest with you, man. Since I got an ATV accident a couple years ago, like I would probably be dying out there right now, and I am if I do go out and play. But I would still go out there and be the cockiest motherfucker on that ice. Let me tell you right now. Like that's just built in all of us. And I think that's that kind of mentality that if you don't have that, you're not gonna continue to push yourself. That's when you get complacent. That's when you start sliding a little bit. You let yourself slide.
And other people can feel when you're presenting that too, when you're acting that way. And that's that monkey shit, man. They can feel it. They
swagger.
can see that.
Yeah, I got my swagger back.
yeah, that's yeah,
like that
for sure.
That,
man. It's just vibrant.
It's awesome, and it's like the same thing with Blue Water. Like obviously, like we had a tough year, but like the guys were like, we have confidence in you whenever you're in net, and your backup as well, and my backup as well, of course. But like just like that just keeps you going and be like, these guys have trust in me. Like I gotta have all the confidence that I can stop that puck. Even if I'm facing 60, 70 shots a night, I'm still gonna do everything I can to keep that puck out of the net and at least keep us in games and keep us competitive.
And that's man. That's like I was telling you, Jack, at the end of the last game we played you guys in playoffs in the first round. All those games where you're having, fucking 65, late 50s, 60s saves per game. When all that stuff is going to add up, man. That's just building you up, man. When you are on, that team, that when you have a sound team in front of you, imagine like you're not going to regret all that stuff, man. All that stuff's going to come into play, man. All that, that's making you what you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got that state of mind, or not to put the plug in or anything, but like that's what it's all about, man.
Plug it anytime you want.
Oh, 100%, man. That's what it's all about, man. It's having that strong mental game. That's the difference between playing goaltender too. I mean, you might not see 3 or 4 shots for 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and you have to be prepared and ready to go sharp. That's just the way that it is, man. And especially when you get filled in for 6, you keep that mentality. It's like, I'm still on top of my game. You ain't scoring again. It doesn't matter how many have went across me. It ain't happening again each time.
Yeah, like you guys both saw it. Like, it doesn't matter how many goals I gave up. Like, you probably wouldn't be able to tell if I gave up 1 goal or I gave up 8 in a game. I still have the same mindset, the same body language, and like it's just I have that confidence, even though the stats, like the goals against, didn't really like show. Like, I think this was like a big development year for me too.
No, dude.
Just because like everything that happened,
bro. Some of those, as we know too. I'm not going to start getting into the refereing and the MIHL this season, man. But there was some
Jack,
shit this season.
That league, the refs, that shit is crazy. I saw some interesting officiating those last few weeks. Well, the whole time I was there, to be honest, but definitely some questionable shit.
There's some questionable stuff in the Waterford game against the Blue Stars too. I mean, like I understand why the coach got mad, like I understand why.
Yeah, like
for sure.
There's definitely things that could change. Like I remember Muskegon, we faced 4 back-to-back 5-on-3s. It's like how in a game is that possible to face that many 5-on-3s back-to-back with like like the penalty is not even expiring, and we're still going back 5-on-3 for a whole period.
I mean, there's a certain point where you hit gimmies. Like it's like you either gotta call everything, and that's how the game's gonna be called. Yeah. You can't be flip flopping on stuff and going,
can't be 11-1. Yeah, penalties. Yeah, you can't be having that shit.
Nah, you gotta either call it or you gotta let it go, and you gotta get a control of the game. That's just a testament to them letting the game get out of control. Number one, and your stats are kind of padded one way or another depending on how the refs call the game.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I think this is a huge development period this year, because like I've said before on this podcast, like I didn't play juniors, I didn't play college, like I've been skating with pros since my freshman year of college. So like just to have get into actual games and get looks from other leagues and other teams as well, like facing 60, 70 shots a night, top against top teams like Waterford, Muskegon, Gaylord, all those teams are super solid. And it's just I was doing anything I can to help us have a chance to win and keep us competitive.
Dude, I saw your eyes at one point when you skated over towards the corner when I was filming. Your eyes were the size of toothpicks, man. Like you were focused in, man. And that's the thing, man. It's like stormtrooper mode out there when you get out there. You ain't letting anything phase you.
No, you got to be dialed. That's one thing that I really had to work on the last couple of years, is just the emotional part, because especially when you get scored on and maybe a bad goal that you give up and you think about it, you're gonna get lit up even more. So it's just you got to go in with the mindset of just one shot, one save, and get the next puck. And it doesn't matter if it was a center ice shot, full ice shot, or a bat or a squeaky goal.
In that final game, man, I was getting pissed off and I wasn't even on the ice, man. I was throwing water bottles and getting all sorts of pissed off from some of them calls, man. I'm a hothead, man. That's the problem. Probably why it's probably a good thing I didn't keep playing, man, because I'd have probably been out there taking BC two-handers at anybody who didn't like what I had to say.
Oh yeah,
it's a game of emotion.
It is game of emotions. I've definitely given the ref a few times, but
you have to.
You have to, especially when they're not going your way and they're not calling the other way around. You got to give it to him.
Sometimes he's got to get yeeted across the ice, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, but let's get into some of these stories from your times with when you, the Fed playoffs, the MIHL playoffs, and the Coast playoffs as well. I'm sure you have a ton of stories that you could share.
Oh man, the funny part about that is just the insider, right? Of knowing all these guys and building all these relationships. It's always funny hearing about the backstory of some of the stuff that's going on. So a lot of guys don't realize it's a grind, man. It's some of these guys that have played ACHA and Division II, and they don't know how it is because they didn't get those shots, some of them. So they come up through the leagues, they're playing through the MIHLs, they're playing super men's, and they're just looking kind of your journey a little bit in terms of, hey, I want to play, I don't know how, so they grind it up, they make it in a league. It ain't all pretty sometimes, man. It depends on what market you're in. It depends on what arena you're in.
A lot of different X factors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, every single guy that we've been talking to lately and that I've been talking to, everybody has a story being broken down on the side of the highway with the bus, 4 hours from their next spot. I think we were talking about everybody's been out to Thunder Bay, for a tournament or something like that, and that drive up through Sault Ste. Marie and all that stuff, it seems to be the spot that everybody's broken down in, and there ain't shit to do. You're stuck. Normally it's cold as shit. The boys are trying to fire up sewer on the side of the road. It's always that type of scenario, but it happens in the East Coast too, man. We seen that a couple of weeks ago with all the craziness that happened in Idaho. I don't know if you boys heard about that.
Was it Idaho or Toledo that had to sleep? I forgot which arena they're at. They had to sleep inside the arena, right?
Yeah, it was in Idaho. I mean, you can't make this shit up, man. And
no,
I'm getting texts from a couple guys that we know, and we're getting the insider scoop on some of it. Guys are obviously pissed because it's messing with their entire routine and everything. But I mean, it all stemmed from Luke Combs being in town and Boise being a small town. So, next thing you know, there's not too many hotels and bad planning. So every team in the East Coast has probably been through one of those situations where there's bad planning. They don't know, you don't play that market too often, especially like you get into the playoffs. It's a lot of bubble cities like the FP and even MIHL to a certain degree, where you're playing teams that are closer to you. And next thing you know, there's no pre-planning. You're not thinking you're going to have an issue with the hotel you're in, and they're putting roller beds in the suites, man. And I was texting back and forth with Gorecki and a couple of the guys that I know down there, and a couple of the equipment managers and stuff. It was funny as hell to just hear all that. But I was telling them they need to go pull out some of those rally towels for blankets, because it didn't look like they had any blankets in those photos, man.
They had to do something to keep them warm.
It's
Might as well put the rally
man.
towels out there.
It's unfortunate, man. It's actually a bad look for the league. I'm not going to lie. I mean, they got to do a better job to look out for these guys, because, every single guy that was in that locker room was playing for, something that they believed in. And to have that happen is kind of unfortunate. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a joke for those guys for the rest of their lives. Like, they're never going to stay in a hotel.
They're always going to make good moments out of that.
Can't keep the stories.
Yep. Yeah, they're never gonna go to the West Coast. Like, I don't think anyone will step foot in Boise again unless they have to. Like, they're probably gonna hope that they get all home games next season. They don't see them again. But Luke, anytime Luke Combs comes on the radio, that's definitely gonna be in the back of their mind.
I'm pretty sure. I think it was Toledo or somewhere. Someone again last year like had to pull beds into like a boardroom or something. Like, I know something went on last year in the playoffs as well.
It's wild, man. I can't believe this stuff keeps happening. Like, we should learn from our mistakes and look out for the guys. I mean, to be honest with you, you take a look at any other sport, you take a look at most leagues. I mean, they're the ones making the team the money, right? Like, teams like Toledo are invested in by the city. I mean, they do a great job, and don't get me wrong. I think that, working with Kalamazoo Wings, like seeing what they do for the team. I mean, they're a small market, and they do a good job at looking out for the guys. They have a nice facility there. They get nice stuff, but you just can't have things like that coming out in the news, because not only that, we're trying to grow the league. Like, one of the things that, like, I've been talking about heavily with Hit Club is we're trying to grow the East Coast. We're trying to get guys opportunities. And when, people from like higher up leagues are taking a look and you're on that type of a team, it kind of puts a bad taste in their mouth when you're like, hey, weren't you on that team that was like got booted from the playoffs and you guys were unfocused because some adversity hit? Like, you never know how a certain coach is going to react. And I've been talking to actually we're working with Ryan Devine. He's a enforcer from the FP, and he's played the SP a little bit. He's looking for the East Coast this year, but he's looking at doing Ice Wars this year too. And we're pretty excited to be working with him. But he was talking about that too. It just depends on the coach that you get. You never know. Like, you go into a preseason interview, and it depends on what you do. So he was all worried about, well, what happens? Do I do Ice Wars? Do I, go to the coast? Like, those are the decisions you have to make, unfortunately. And you take a look at it, it all depends, man. You really got to take a look at, number one, what team you're playing for, what's the look, and all jokes aside with guys in the league, that can't be happening. End of story.
Yeah. Imagine they would go on to win that series. They could just get flipped right around, and you could get those opportunities in other places because you went over that adversity and won a series when the shit was hitting the fan and all that.
Yeah, you take a look at that too. That series could have been a lot different had that not happened. And it's kind of funny too. Like, I was going back and forth with Cam Johnson, who too, Jack. He's a total beauty. Shout out Cam.
Most valuable beauty.
Oh yeah, shout out Lambs down there too. And Masella and all the boys on Florida Everblades. They've been repping Hit Club pretty hard. But they just had the bus moment up there in Newfie where they had to go to Chuck E. Cheese for lunch. They threw him on a school bus and took him to the rink in their full gear. Man, that was that was another one of those moments where you just can't make that shit up, man. So you start taking a look at that, and it's at least that's like a laughable moment. It's like, hey, there's going to practice. That's like a chirpable moment. But some of this other stuff that keeps happening across the leagues, like teams aren't getting full team gear at the beginning of the season. Like fans are buying gear, they don't even have like a zip up of the team's logo on it. Guys aren't getting their sticks sponsored. They're playing pro hockey, they ain't getting their sticks sponsored. I mean, that stuff's got to change, period. And us as a I'll do whatever I can to make sure that that's not happening. And I think that's big, man. You guys are out here playing professional hockey, doing what you love for a reason. That's the type of stuff that just can't, it's a bad look, period. I hold firm on that. Like, that can't be happening. Sleeping with bed bugs and shit. I get it happens, but like if it really did happen with Toledo again, that's really unfortunate. Like if it happened to them twice.
Yeah. And it's like especially with social media, like you could definitely hide all that like behind the scenes, but social media is such a big impact that literally everyone knows the story, even if they don't even pay attention to hockey. Like they know an ECHL team had to sleep at the rink and like they had to pull beds into like a boardroom and just stuff like that. Like social media could be good, but it also can be bad, especially in that way where it's like you're exposing a league and then it just looks bad overall.
Well, not only that, you start taking a look. I know I've had this argument with plenty of people. You start taking a look at the salary cap and different sports across the board. I mean, NHL caps out much lower than a lot of these other leagues, and teams' profit sharing is twice as high, I would say, in a lot of these scenarios because of the type of ownership that they have, because of the type of deals they have. And, it's just something that like I'd really like to see change and across the board in the league, especially since we're on the more business side, since we're getting into like that side of things. I mean, something that we're trying to do is bake into everything, something that we give back to teams, like to the players, to the boys, like in every single type of scenario that we sign with a company or work with, because it's not about the exposure for us. It's about like those real moments, because we've been a part of them, man. There's a couple more I'll let some other guys tell another time. But just some of the stories from the playoffs this season have been really something, man.
Yeah, that's unreal. And like stories that you hear just wild. Like there's a lot of like things that go unsaid that like guys tell like off air and stuff like that. And it's just like, wow, you never expect that to happen, but it does.
Oh, we got a whole storybook about the whole Danbury experience. What happened with Carolina on that second game there in Danbury was really something, man. I mean, I don't know what was said and what wasn't said, but like that's another one where it's just like the timekeeper forgets to hit the time clock. They score. There's a bunch of stuff that's said afterwards. I mean, I'm pretty sure there was an owner on the ice swearing at the team. That's the type of stuff right there where like, I'm not going to lie, if I would have been there, that wouldn't have been happening. I would have made sure they were getting spit on.
Would have came kicking ass.
I mean, just from that perspective, taking a look at, all the things we've been talking about recently, I mean, it's just not a good look to have certain things like that happening no matter what league you are. And I mean, you got to let the boys play. You can't have, lack of the better term, fuck ups interfering with like the result of a game. And you can't have off-ice drama and things happening that affect careers of people either. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's trying to get their next shot because everybody's trying to make it to that next level, not because of the money, because guys literally want to play at a high level. And I guarantee you go into a locker room, there's probably only 3 or 4 of the guys that are in it 100% for the money. The rest of those boys are in there playing because they love the sport.
Yeah, they love the game and just want to be out there playing the sport they've played for their entire life at a professional level or whatever level that is. And it's just guys go through a lot just to get there. And like it's once you get to like the spot at the next level, like everything is, I wouldn't say perfect, but like it's a lot more where it's like, this is what I want to do. And like I love the game. Like there's nothing better.
I mean, it's the locker room too. I mean, like you hit a certain point when you're playing professional hockey where it's like you're making brothers for life. You're making friends for life. You're going through those memories that we talked about for life. You're never going to play this song that like went off at this certain moment. It's always going to remind you guys of something. It's going to be a laugh for the rest of your life. So like there's that aspect of it too. And I think with that, every single one of those guys is playing for those type of memories too. You know, it's not just the money, it's not just the prowess of being able to play at the next level. It's about making those memories, new experiences, and you know, when you hang them up, you hang them up. So you only have so long to do it, and I think that's an important thing to note too, that you know, you have 15 years if you're, you know, really good, you have 10 if you're decent, and those are memories you're going to have for the rest of your life. You're not going to sit around wondering, hey, did I try my hardest and go to the next level? Did I try and go here? You know, I think you woke up, you said like 1 a.m, Jack, and like drove down to Evansville or something like that. Like
I was
that's the
going
shit you'll
to.
never forget.
Yeah. I was going to,
shit.
but I left like the next day.
Gotcha.
Like,
yeah, I remember.
like
okay,
noon.
so you did leave the next day. But it's like I was talking to Gorecki, and you know, like next thing you know, he's like, I got 6-hour drive to St. Louis, and I got like a 6-hour drive to Wichita, and it's just like those are the type of things you'll never forget, man. Some of those like funny texts you get from the boys, like on your way, some of like the inside jokes and shit in the group chats, man. That's really where all the memories and the beauty comes into hockey too.
For sure.
Yeah, if you look at like guys that are retired and you ask them like if you look back at like your career, like what are some of the things you miss, and everyone's gonna without hesitation be like the locker room and the boys, because it's just a lot of fun being in the locker room and just be able to just shoot the shit with the boys and just make some memories there.
Yeah, you guys had it going in Waterford there and on the road too. I mean, that was a fucking riot. Didn't make a difference during the MIHL playoffs, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's awesome to just see that. And then like what you were saying about like guys like going up to the next level and like not regretting anything, like they have like 10 15 years of where they're good. Like that was like one of the things that like I love this sport, and like I always will. So like I'm gonna be like, if I don't try and go play professionally, because like that's what I've wanted to do since I was a little kid, like I'm gonna live every day with that regret of not putting everything I have into the game of hockey to get to that professional level. And even like at the professional level right now, like I still love the sport, and I'm gonna love the sport for the rest of my life. And it's like I just want to keep working my way up the ranks and get to the next level. And like even if I don't like or like try to get to that next level, like I'm gonna have regret, because like I always want to better myself and get to that next level. So I'm just putting everything I have into the game, and every single like positive energy and energy as a whole into the sport.
Yeah, homie. And to be honest with you, when you hang them up, you hang them up. Like that was what like I feel like a lot of like the Hit Club was born out of. A bunch of us guys that were always seeing a couple of guys playing, and we were sick and tired of working in corporate America, man. Like when you go to work every day and slave over work, the next thing you're thinking is like, how can I get involved in like what I love again? Whether that's hockey, whether that's anybody. So, you know, like finding a way to get back into it, it's never going to go away. You're born with your love for hockey. Like, you know what I mean? Like it came not long after. Like, I remember vividly the first moment that I like fell in love with hockey. My uncle had like a Vancouver Canucks game on. I think it was like Hockey Night in Canada. Part of my family's from Windsor, so like I grew up, you know, surrounded by it. And you know, those old barns that we used to go to, like Riverside Arena and the old Detroit Windsor Arena downtown Windsor, there was Spitz used to play. And you know, growing up watching Little Caesars, and my uncle being a coach, and you know, people being a ice crew in my family too, like around Windsor area. That's everything, man. Watching a Hockey Night in Canada did it for me. I was like 3 years old. I remember seeing that game, and that was it, man. That was everything. And then the Red Wings got good, and you know, it was over. Like that was everything. So getting back into it in some capacity, even though the career didn't work out the way I intended, you know, was everything. And getting back into the company and being able to produce something and work with you guys is cool as hell, because we're able to get back into that again. You know, like just being in the room with you guys again is fucking the best. You know, there's nothing better than just like playing sewer, like bullshitting, laughing about stuff, having team meals, hanging out with the boys, like talking shit. There's nothing else like it, man.
That's what I miss in the off season. Even though like
Yep.
I love the off season because like I have a great group here and like I love going to the rink every day and I love the grind and the process to get to that higher level. But it's like you do miss like when you're off when you're not in season about like all the things you do with the boys in season because you see them every single day that you're in season.
Well, the back home boys are still the boys, it's just like they're part of the bigger network because the back home
Yeah.
boys are going to meet the boys in the room, and it's just going to be a bigger group, man. And that's what I've been trying to put together all summer. I definitely shout out to you guys, but we got to put together something with like everybody across all the different leagues and get like some golf going, some fishing. I know like I've been talking to Chris Orbati about going out there and hanging out with him and shooting the shit, shooting some promos, and also doing a little bit of fishing. I've been talking to a couple of the boys up in Ontario. We're going to do some stuff like that. So we're hoping at least this summer, we're going to put it together with a couple different groups of guys. But next summer, you've heard it here first. We're trying to put together like a huge golf outing for literally all the leagues. We're like going to try and put together like a couple day thing where we get guys from all the leagues together in one spot and just run it up, man. It's going to be a good time. So hopefully we can actually make that happen because I think it would be unreal. A lot of these guys, are doing it separate, but if we can get a bunch of guys together, like put all the enforcers together from all the different leagues and get Keegs and get the fucking Three Stooges photo with a couple of you guys in the middle, man, that's going to be golden, man. Cause that's documentation. I think that doesn't happen enough in minor leagues, man. Is like the documentation of actually all these guys, all these beauties, all these fighters, all these goal scorers, all these tendies, like it just doesn't happen like that. And I think that's like the next level is like promotion and documentation down in these minor leagues, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to it wherever it is. You already know I'm already there.
Oh, 100%, man. Yeah, we're gonna get everyone together, man. That's gonna be cool. But even if not, man, we definitely got to put it together with at least the three of us and whoever else wants to tag
Yeah, we'll
along.
figure it out.
We'll get something going this summer.
I've been texting Keegs on the course a couple times.
Yeah, we'll get her going. Golf, fishing, shooting promo for the season, and getting on the ice, whatever it is, 100%.
Oh yeah, we got to hit that hard too. Yeah, we got to do some of those promos for Hit Club too. We'll put that together soon as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But any last words before we cap this episode off? Like where could everyone find Hit Club Hockey and like on the socials, like wherever?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So you can hit us up. We're super active on Instagram. We're getting all the other channels going, but definitely at Hit Club Hockey on Instagram, hitclubhockey.com. And obviously we're still pushing things out across multiple different platforms, but we just had our season 2 release. We have like season 1 that was out for just over 6 months. We just released a new line for the playoff season for all the different leagues. We definitely have some like diverse apparel and gear that's out now. But in the next couple months, we're also going to be launching our performance apparel line that we're going to be testing with a couple of you guys too. So like I know Jack, we're going to get you some of that. Keegs are going to get you some of that performance gear so we can get that dialed in. And we're going to be launching our like Gitch and a performance apparel line here pretty soon too. So that's going to be the first of the hockey supply, and we're super excited about that. So you can check out the apparel at hitclubhockey.com. You can use promo code on the spot for 15% off your first order. So definitely check it out. Give us a test and a trial. Know you're gonna love the gear. We've been working, like I said, I think we have like, fuck man, I don't even know. We have like 40 guys now. Like shout out all the Waterford Sharks. Shout out all the Kalamazoo Wings, the Evansville Thunderbolts, Carolina Thunderbirds, Florida Everblades. I mean, the list goes on and on of these guys that we've been working with, and we're super excited about everybody that's repping the brand, and can't be more excited to continue those relationships moving into summertime and also into next season.
Yeah, that's unreal. Brand keeps growing. It's gonna keep growing, and just go buy your merch because it's well worth it, and you will not complain about it. Like, it's gonna be top of the line, and it's gonna be the
For
best
sure.
merch you've ever received.
Unreal stuff. Yeah, they're actually I have I'm juggling 2 contract offers right now for the late summer for a bare knuckle boxing match and hit club. We were talking we're gonna have hit club. We're gonna do a full on hit club robe and fight shorts for the
That's
gonna
scrap.
be
So really
unreal.
really excited about designing that. But yeah, so everybody stay tuned for that news. Got juggling 2 offers right now. End of summer, it's looking like August.
Let's
Either
go.
over in the UK or out west in Montana, bare knuckle boxing match. Yeah, it's gonna be big stuff, big summer. Shout out to all the fight sponsors. Big shout out to Kurt and Hit Club. Kurt's been with me from the beginning, and definitely gonna have him by my side through the whole ride. So it's real stuff. It's a good solid brotherhood.
Yeah, it helps that we all love boxing too, man, and fighting in any capacity, man. It crosses over quite well, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, you're gonna see Hit Club definitely venture off for sure. Yeah. Definitely gonna get into the bare knuckle scene with them too, for sure.
Yeah, we're definitely looking
Unreal.
forward to you like boxing some of these clowns, man. Just throwing them right out, man.
For sure, but yeah, it's
That
gonna be big stuff. Big stuff coming.
Let's
that's
go.
that's unreal. But Kurt, thank you for everything you've done for me and for Hit Club Hockey and everyone else that reps the brand. Like, it's unreal. Keegs, you're a beauty. It was great meeting you this year and great playing against you. And but thank you boys for joining the show, and this is a lot of fun, and like, anytime you guys want to come on, it's yours.
I got one more shout out too. Shout out the Hummus Boys down on Roller Tour too. We're sponsoring them homies, and I'll shout out Batita too on the Trash Pandas. He's doing some summer league stuff we're sponsoring. So those are the homies as well.
There we go. Unreal. Love it. Thanks boys for coming on, and this is a blast.
For sure. Cheers, fellas.